if you means that do it. Burger
Technical difficulties.
And now we welcome Radio 4 listeners to the programme. No, I'm sorry. And now we welcome Radio 4 listeners to the programme. No, I'm sorry. Now we welcome Radio 4 listeners to the... No, I'm sorry. And now we welcome Radio 4 listeners to the programme. 4 listeners, is that all this Hollywood's doing? Is it?
Good morning, you are listening. Good morning, you are listening to Radioactive.
7, 6, 5, stand by, 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome along to your favourite local radio station, the Get Up and Go station, the station that puts action first. It's Radioactive. You're listening to Bedrock, the early morning breakfast show, and my name's...
Mike Star.
And if you just joined us here this bright and happy morning, the weather forecast for the rest of the day is dry and sunny with a high of 94 degrees centigrade, that's 18 degrees Fahrenheit. And let me remind you that you're tuned in to...
Radioactive.
Broadcasting to you locally wherever you are in the nation on 222 metres medium wave, that's 99 point blank in stereo VHF. It's 13 minutes past and, well, we've a hell of a day lined up for you here on Radioactive, Britain's first national local radio station. There's plenty of time reports and traffic reports, time checks, recipes, time checks, the usual competitions and phone-ins, time checks, and a host of other great features and time checks. And above all, there's lots of good music. But first, though, with the time at exactly 13 minutes past, let's listen to the latest single from the sensational Swedish sensation from Sweden, Baba, with a music machine. It's exactly 13 minutes past.
Put it in a Swiss bag on account of our similarity. It's the only place that's clean enough. We pretend that it's fun and don't mind if we sing this is rubbish for a month, so long as we stay at number 1.
Well, if that was one of your current favourites, why not give us a ring and tell us on this number?
4856242.
I'll repeat that.
0110100000001. 9.
It's exactly past here on Radioactive, and it's hello to Mike Stad. Hi, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
Good to see you.
Yes, it must be.
Great. Heavy night last night, Mike? Your eyes look dreadful.
Well, you should see what they look like from this side.
Super.
Well, listen,
Terrific.
Okay.
Well, I'll be saying goodbye then, Mike. Have a great show.
Thanks, Mike. Bye.
Bye, Mike.
Wherever you are in the world, there's one credit card you can't afford to be without. American Express, the card that gives you more credit where credit's due.
Madame, monsieur?
You have a room for the night?
Oh, yes, of course, monsieur. That's 200 francs deposit, monsieur.
American Excess?
Oh, that's different. 300 francs deposit, monsieur.
American Excess, you know it makes sense. And saves dollars.
Oh, well, my time seems to have trickled away a bit like bathwater down a plug hole, really, but not quite so dirty. Anyway, here's Mickey to fill my shoes for the next few hours.
Hello, Michael.
Hi, Mickey.
Bye, Mike.
Bye, Mickey.
And my first record's been requested by Zoe of Maidenhead, who's asked us to say hi to Trevor. She says she's sorry, Trevor, and hopes you'll still be able to cycle, and promises to replace any of the appliances that are missing. Good luck with the op, she says, and see you soon in court. It's 4 minutes to, and you're listening to Radioactive. Hello, darling. How are you?
Fine. All right. Who was he? Who was that man in your bed last night?
You.
Was it? Was it? Thought I recognised his pyjamas.
Johnny's meeting me after the show. Will you still be here?
Johnny? Johnny bloody who?
Johnny, our son.
What, him again? Can't you tell him to leave you alone? You are my wife, you know.
Did I tell you Daddy had rung?
Daddy? Who's Daddy then when he's at home?
Your father.
My father, very likely.
He said he'd be round to the flat around 6.
No, well, I'll be back by then, so you'd better watch out.
Okay, stand by. 10 seconds.
He hadn't heard the news that I was pregnant.
Pregnant?
I told you.
Oh, yes. And who's the happy father, then?
Michael, you are.
Who the hell is Michael you are?
Lovely old dead Elvis there with a record he recorded while he was still alive. Suspicious mind. It's very nearly news time here on Radioactive, and time for us to join Roger Rogers at the news desk.
Washington. President Carter meets heads of state.
Good evening. Today, President Carter met several heads of state in Washington.
London. Sixth man inspiring revealed.
And in London, the identity of the sixth man inspiring has been revealed. And now regional news.
Regional news. Local man dies.
A local man, Mr. Arthur Smith, a plumber aged 33 with a wife and 2 children, has died today in a nuclear holocaust. And the weather?
Weather. Bad weather forecast.
There will be a bad weather forecast in half an hour's time.
The time is fair whizzing by here on Radioactive. And as usual, at this stage of the day, it's time once again for Radioactive to link up with our weather ship, moored just a few miles out to sea, for today's shipping forecast with Mike Codine. Hello, Mike. We understand they're experiencing some pretty turbulent weather out there. Hello, Mike.
Oh, God.
Mike? Well, it looks as if the weather might be causing 1 or 2 technical problems there. Well, you know, short circuits, broken cables, that sort of thing. Perhaps better leave Mike just now. Doubtless just putting the final touches to the shipping forecast. And we'll be back to him for that very shortly. In the meantime, film review.
Hello. This week I went along to see the latest cinema television spin-off, Blue Peter, the motion picture. It was crass, boring, banal even, but even so I didn't like it. More of my taste is the new Buster Keaton season opening this week at the Trendy Arts Film Centre in London. Among the films to be shown is the truly classic The Stuntman. Who can forget this truly unforgettable scene? Remember that? Gripping stuff. In stark contrast to the poignant and moving deathbed scene at the end of the film. Truly brilliant.
And now, Radioactive presents...
Commercial time. Do you suffer from the oldest social problem in the world? Then you'll know what it's like to have bad breath. But now your problem days are over, with new Quilly's lozenges. Teenager Judy Stench tells how it changed her life.
Well, I never used to have much of a social life. All the boys would ignore me. And at parties, sometimes I just feel unwanted. Hello, everybody.
Oh, Jesus.
Then, one day, a close friend told me what the problem was.
You got bad breath, love. Don't turn round. Oh, God.
Well, eventually, in desperation, I went to the chemist to ask his advice. Morning, Mr. Turner.
Oh, hello, Judy. Nice to see you. Hang on a minute. Yes, what can I do for you?
I told him what the matter was, and he suggested I try new Quillies immediately.
I suggest you try new Quillies immediately. Here, have a free packet or two, or half a dozen maybe. In fact, I'll hold bloody lot.
Well, needless to say, Quillies changed everything. Now I have a different date every night.
Yes, why don't you take Judy's advice? If you feel down in the mouth, suck Quillies and see how it changes your life.
Suck Quillies, they make your mouth feel great.
Before you go out in the morning, stick Quillies in your pocket.
Great.
That was Radioactive's thought for the day. And now, a real late-night listening treat for all you insomniacs who can't sleep. The latest in our series of pop profiles. It's the Heebie-Jeebies story.
Who isn't familiar with the name of Norris, Gary and Dobbin Cribb? Well, almost everyone, and quite justifiably. But that's probably because they're better known as the Heebie-Jeebies, one of the most phenomenally successful sensations in the world of phenomena. That is, the world of pop known to us as the pop world. We asked them how it all started.
Don't know.
I don't know.
I've no idea.
No, I don't.
But how come this colossal rise to fame in such a short time? I asked Dobbin.
Well, of course, we've been brothers on a non-commercial basis before all this, but then Robert Stigwood came along.
He's your manager.
Oh, is he?
No, I was asking you.
Oh, yeah, Robert, yeah.
So, I flew over to Sydney, Australia, to see the boys' manager, Robert Stigwig. An entirely wasted journey, as Stigwig lives in New York. Where I flew on to speak to him in his luxury penthouse apartment, the heart of the Stigwig empire. Mr. Stigwig.
Call me Rob.
No. Mr. Stigwig, why the heebie-jeebies?
Well, when I first met them, I took one look at these four lads.
3.
Was it? These three lads then, and I thought, here are four men.
3.
3 men. I saw in them a rare spark of creativity, of originality.
Yes.
So I got rid of that and, hey presto, overnight stars.
So, now they're at the top of the pop world. What ambitions remain for the heebie-jeebies?
Well, we all still have one great ambition. Something we feel we owe to our fans. And that is to release our first record.
But how do the boys themselves feel about venturing into the recording studio for the first time?
We're really thrilled, of course, really excited.
Yeah.
You're really looking forward to the challenge of actually making a record.
Well, we're more looking forward to the thrill of learning how to play guitar.
And how to sing.
Yeah, how to sing. I'd like to sing. That'd be great.
So, now, 8 months later, for the first time on British radio, here's your chance to hear the fruits of their long labours. From men expired, the Heebie-Jeebies with their latest debut single.
The golden rays of golden sun fall on your golden hair, and I brush aside the golden sheet and see you golden there. And I wonder what you and I are going to do all day. 'Cause I can't think of anything I want to do or say. So I'll have to do what I did yesterday and sing you meaningless songs in very high voices with 1,000 violins. Meaningless songs in very high voices in a pair of high double keys. Meaningless songs in very high voices. Whatever that means. The world is very, very large, and butter is better than the march. And love is better than hate. The world is very, very big, and bacon comes from the head. But it's you I really want on my plate. So I sing you meaningless songs in very high voices, and then a little scream. Meaningless songs in very high voices. Pizza has slept with his dreams. Meaningless songs in very high voices until the record ends. And when it does, we'll simply start again. Meaningless songs in very high
That was Radioactive, brought to you by the Oxford Review, starring Helen Atkinson Wood, Angus Deaton, Philip Pope, Karen Rasmussen, Michael Stevens, and David Jackson Young. The show was written by Richard Curtis, Angus Deaton, Philip Pope, David Jackson Young, and the producer, Jimmy Mulville.
In a moment on Radioactive, we'll be giving you the address to write to for your free money, and also telling you where to obtain your free nude posters of Debbie Harry, John Travolta, David Bowie, and Farrah Fawcett Majors. But right now, it's time to say goodbye to Radio 4 listeners who leave us for their own programs.
This is Radio 4. Before the next programme, here is an announcement about BBC staff vacancies. The BBC has vacancies for the following positions: Television newsreaders are required for BBC One and BBC Two. Any candidates with incomprehensible regional accents, drink problems and embarrassing speech impediments will automatically be favoured. And an entire new team of BBC Radio 4 continuity announcers is required following the shock redundancy measures announced only minutes ago. In fact, the next person to speak, we understand, is the first in line for the push, the big E. So perhaps you'd bear that in mind as you listen to them doing the following link. Particularly obnoxious, this one, apparently. Very unpopular in the department. Everyone's glad to see the back of him.
Your Majesty, thank you very much for talking to us, and good luck with the record. And now on Radioactive, we welcome Radio 4 listeners who join us for Bedrock, the early morning breakfast show with Mike Flex.
And a great good morning. Hi, Mike Flex here. Look after yourselves and thanks for the money. My name is Mike Flex.
Mike Flex, Mike Flex.
Yep, Mike Flex, and by one of those happy coincidences, this is the Mike Flex Show. And thank you for all those of you who wrote in for the Find a New Name for Mike Flex competition. We still haven't picked the winner, but thank you to Joy for suggesting old Dustbin Head. We'll have a brand new competition later on when we'll be inviting you to find a name for the microphone. So, plenty of fun there, I would think. Well, you're listening to Radioactive, Britain's first national local radio station, broadcasting to you on the same wavelength as all the local taxis. But right now, here's Mandy with news of her show that you can hear later on today. Hi, Mandy.
Hi, Mike.
What have you got on for us today?
Oh, just the usual pair of jeans.
Terrific, yeah.
Well, no, but seriously, Mike, I'm doing the Golden Oldies show where I'll be playing all the hits from just 1 year. And tonight I'll be playing all the hits from 1873. So, there's a must for all you Cliff Richard fans.
Okay, bye, Mandy. And now it's Film Review.
Hello. This week I went along to see the latest cinema television spin-off, Blue Peter, the motion picture. It was crass, boring, banal, but even so, I didn't like it. And more to my taste is the new Buster Keaton season opening this week at the Trendy Arts Film Centre in London. Among the films to be shown is the truly classic The Stuntman. Who can forget this truly unforgettable scene? Remember that? Gripping stuff. In stark contrast, of course, to the poignant and moving deathbed scene at the end of the film. Brilliant. Well, next week sees the opening of the new Peckinpah, the latest Coppola, and Brando's directorial debut. But I'll be turning my attention to Naked Virgins in Copenhagen. So while I'm away, Mike Flex will be
Radioactive.
Okay, nice to see you up. And last night I went to see the very moving new film, in fact, the first teardrop of spring, and I must admit I cried. I couldn't afford an ice cream. Okay, yeah. Actually, I couldn't afford to go to the cinema as my wife has just left me. Come back, Helen. Okay. Time for a request, and it comes from Mrs. Johnson in Kettering, and she wants to hear Old Mouthful of Gravel, Kenny Rogers.
There are times when a boy becomes a man, and things you couldn't tell him, you suddenly can. When Billy grew up, I thought it was the time that I called him and laid things on the line.
said, Billy, you're almost turned 16. And I thought I ought to tell you about your mama and me. I have to let you know we married 13 years ago. That means technically speaking, you're a bastard. You're a bastard. You're a bastard. But you're still my son. You're a bastard. You're a bastard. But what's done is done. Billy, he's a big boy. He stood by my side. And as he spoke to me, there was a tear in his eye. And there was two of them. He said, Dad, what'd you tell me? Comes as no surprise. Ma told me all about you before she died. She said you promised you'd always be true. Never cheat on a blind girl, that's what you never do. But you slept with her mother, her sister and her brother. She said you were a bastard. You're a bastard. You're a bastard. And you did my mama wrong, which is worse. You're a bastard, you're a bastard. And I replied, but you were a bastard first. Altogether. He's a bastard, he's a bastard. I'm a bastard. He's a selfish short. That's me. He's a bastard. And you know, that bastard was right. And you know, that bastard was right.
And we're just coming up to news time now, and we've just heard that the Governor-General of Australia has resigned. And for more details about that, our man in Sydney is on the line, Roger Jones. Hello, Roger. Hello, Roger.
Hi.
Roger, what are the reactions of the Australians to the Governor-General's resignation?
What time is it?
Hello, Roger. I was wondering about the reactions to the Governor-General's resignation.
It's 5 o'clock in the morning.
Has there been much surprise?
Surprise, bloody 5 o'clock in the morning.
What about the Prime Minister?
What about him?
Do you expect him to be surprised?
I should say so, bloody 5 o'clock in the morning. Oh, get back to sleep, you silly cow. It's 5 o'clock in the morning.
Roger?
5 o'clock in the morning? What does he want?
I don't know, it's about the Prime Minister.
Roger, perhaps you could bring us back here.
Look, you stay out of this.
Well, we'll be keeping you right up to date on that story just as soon as we can buy a newspaper. But right now it's time for our resident medium, Miranda, with today's stars.
Taurus, if you are a Trappist monk, today will be quiet. Cancer, Leos will be particularly receptive to you today. Seek them out wherever you can. Leos, Cancerians are a bad sign today. If one approaches you, hit them where they are most sensitive. Scorpio, pay special attention to your diet. In particular, avoid glass, rat poison, and anything bigger than yourself. Aquarius, you will travel unexpectedly after a gas explosion in your kitchen.
Get sunshine and beaches and foreign diseases. We call them holiday spots. Holiday spots.
holiday abroad this year?
Call in at Perkins Travel and let me and my second wife, Jill, show you some of the exciting cities you can travel to.
Yes! And all at roughly half the cost of any other travel agent.
Here are some of the exotic places you can visit. Reykjavik, home of the igloo and cultural centre of Antarctica. Plenty of fresh air and open space, and within easy walking distance of Canada. Or perhaps you prefer something a little further south.
Lovely Warsaw, known throughout the world as the capital of Poland and home of many Polish people. With sunshine throughout almost the whole of the last week in July, a must for anyone with an interest in vodka or light industry.
So book now with Perkins Travel Agency.
And a quick bit of traffic news. There will be no tubes running today between Mayfair and Dulwich, as there are no stations in either of these places.
Tickets, please. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, sir, thank you. Excuse me, sir, when did you buy this ticket?
This morning, obviously.
Well, that's impossible, I think, sir, because the date says the 7th.
Yes, well?
It's 23rd today, sir.
Really?
Did you buy this ticket today?
Well, yes, I did. When did you think I bought it? D-Day?
OK, well, it's got a serial number on it. I'll just ring up Caterham and check if there's been something faulty with their dating machine, OK?
Well, actually, I didn't buy it myself. Obviously. I mean, my father bought it for me and gave it to me as I was getting on the train.
I see.
Now, if that really does say the 7th, then he must have bought the ticket on the 7th and not used it, and given it to me instead of the new one.
In which case, your father will have today's ticket.
Yes. Yes, he probably knows. He's probably lost it. probably emptied out his pockets and lost the shit. Oh, I could kill him.
Well, we'd better take down his name and address then, sir.
Who's this?
Your father.
My father? He's dead. You better have mine instead.
Sir, look, let's be honest. You tried to use an old ticket to get through today, isn't that the truth?
How dare you accuse me of... Yes, that is true. How dare you? I pay taxes to keep your sort of person alive, you know?
Your name, sir?
Oh, very well. My name is Gordon. Kenneth.
Which is it to be, sir?
Kenneth? Do you know my Christian name? Kenneth?
As in Kendall?
Yes, that's right. Come on.
And your second name, sir?
Kendall.
Your name is Kenneth Kendall?
Yes. Come on, hurry up. Some of us got jobs to do, you know.
Your address then, sir?
10 Downing Street. Caterham.
Thank you, sir. Right, very well. You'll be hearing from us.
Look, you couldn't just hold this £5 note for a moment, could you?
Are you trying to bribe me, sir?
No. Yes, why not?
Right, well, I'm afraid we'll have to take that as well.
Oh, well, thanks for holding it for me. Could I just have it back? Thanks very much. Very decent of you.
Oh, you'll be hearing from us, sir. How careless. The price of one ticket and a fine anywhere up to £200.
Was it really worth it? Next time, it could be you.
That was a public service broadcast. And news of a couple of events going on today that you might be interested in. There's a meeting of the Salvation Army in Hyde Park, and they'll be going on from there to beat up some midgets in Chelsea. That's 3 o'clock if you want to come along. But right now, Helen, I love you. Please come back. Right now, it's time for another in our series of personal reminiscences of famous celebrities' lives, which we have decided to call Personal Reminiscences of Famous Celebrities' Lives.
It is a fact that someone you took when you were young to be the most objectionable, stubborn, insincere, pompous, and unnecessarily toffee-nosed person you ever had the misfortune of sharing a bath night with can turn out in later life to be perfectly pleasant. Thus, I feel somewhat guilty about revealing my childhood memories of Margaret Thatcher. I first met Maggie, or Margaret, as she was then known, in 1937 and bade her farewell, or more good riddance, in 1942. Although she was the youngest girl in the dormitory, within 3 weeks, Margaret, or Sir, as she insisted on being called, was dormitory captain. She ruled the dormitory with a rod of iron, which she had prized out from the bedstead. Thinking back, it occurs to me that there were enormous parallels between her opinions even then and the ones she now holds. Now she believes wholeheartedly in the freedom of the individual, and this was also the case at school, where she was, of course, the individual in question. And then her stand on capital punishment has never altered. Poor Joanna. But you know, as much as you may have noticed, little snatches of hostility do slip in there where I'm talking about Margaret, or Boadicea, as she was as she was known by the end of our school days, one couldn't help but admire her persistence. All in all, Margaret Thatcher has made an indelible mark upon those who have crossed her path in life. My particular mark is just here on the outside of my leg, where she stabbed me with a fountain pen.
Broadcasting to you locally, nationwide. Well, time now, on a lighter note, for Radioactive's Quiz of the Air. Last week we had a special competition for all you men entitled Who is the Perfect Lover? And a staggering 80% thought it was Judy Huxtable of Cheshire. So that's the correct answer. For those of you who didn't get it, her address is 14 Priory Terrace. But this week, something for the ladies. We give you the chance to find out, would I make a good queen? So, pencils ready, and write down the answers that apply to you. I like to wear
A. Hats.
B. Headscarves.
C. Crowns.
When I meet a man for the first time, I usually say
A. Hello.
B. Hello, handsome.
C. Arise, sir.
At Christmas, I like to
A. Put my feet up.
B. Carve the turkey.
C. Address the nation.
I like opening
A. Presents.
B. Chocolates.
C. Parliament.
I am used to treading on
A. Floorboards.
B. Lino.
C. Corgis.
And finally, I would like my son to be
A. An accountant.
B. A BBC producer.
C. King.
So there's the quiz. If you want to enter, get in touch with us before last Friday and we will send you a self-addressed envelope. A few months ago, the government published a pamphlet, Protect and Survive, a publication designed to advise the British people what we should do in the event of a nuclear attack. Well, I have with me in the studio Mr. Gareth Gutteridge, a member of the Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament. Mr. Gutteridge, welcome.
Yes.
How thorough is this publication, Mr. Gutteridge?
Yes. I do feel that throughout the book, one category of person has been totally ignored.
And who is this?
Well, and this is the unfortunate fella who finds that the nuclear bomb is about to fall directly on his head.
Yes, so what do you in the CND suggest for this person?
Now, well, the secret will be to have on your person some kind of protective headgear.
I see, and what would you recommend?
Well, there's a lamentable lack of headdresses in the shop, designed specifically to withstand the full impact of a nuclear warhead. But we recommend the ancient Chinese cooking instrument, the wok.
Yeah.
or a copy of Bertrand Russell's History of Western Philosophy.
And you should hold these above your head at the moment of impact.
Well, preferably you should find some way of attaching them by means of glue or string, as holding on the headgear will probably mean that your hands come out the worse for wear in the case of a direct hit.
Any final words of encouragement to someone who finds themselves in such a situation?
Well, once the headgear is on, just stand and wait, and hope the bomb isn't all it's cracked up to be.
Thanks very much. This is Radioactive, broadcasting on 400 metres long wave, 200 metres medium wave, and 100 metres hurdles VHF. And now, we have the results here of an exclusive radioactive survey which proves that the death rate is remaining steady, at 1 per person. Right now, it's time for our short story, read today by Roger Daly, and he's going to be having a look at an extract from Samantha's Passage, the new novel by Suzanne Jacks.
The raging sun beat down on the scorched white sand, and languid palm trees rustled gently in the wind. Samantha noticed how there was something different about Brixton these days. Was it the changing climate, or perhaps the sudden swell of tourists? Or was it the 600-yard Riviera beach built along the South Circular by the local council? She couldn't tell. She watched the children as they ran to the edge of the beach, buckets and spades in their hands, being narrowly missed by number 19 buses. How careless of them, she thought, that they should always miss. Looking round her, she saw a young man. She asked him to stop looking round her, and he smiled enigmatically and walked away. Immediately, without hesitation, she reached for her dictionary and looked up enigmatic. She wondered if she had perhaps frightened him away by appearing too demure or disconsolate, but then realized she didn't know what either of those words meant either. She watched him disappear and decided to stretch her legs. Perhaps added height would attract him. Then suddenly, before she could do anything about it, the narrative stopped.
Thank you, Roger. Well, Roger has in fact had an unfortunate accident with his own library recently. It burnt down. Both books were destroyed, and one of them wasn't even coloured in. Please come back, Helen, and bring Jonathan with you if you must. But right now, it's my very great pleasure to be joined in the studio here by the very beautiful Kate Bosch. Kate, good to see you.
Yeah, it must be amazing.
You're looking very amazing today. Yeah?
Amazing.
Wearing that marvellously delicate dress.
Yeah, it's amazing, actually. It's crimpline.
Is it homemade?
No, it's Marks and Sparks.
Amazing. Kate, I must ask you, do you wear anything underneath?
Amazing. Sorry?
Sorry. What are your future plans?
Well, I'm touring at the end of the year, and then I'm doing another album.
Yeah. Are you doing anything this evening?
Sorry?
Kate, would you like to give us a brief sample of one of your new songs?
Well, I think that would be, amazing, Mike.
Amazing. Okay. So here on Radioactive for the first time is the beautiful Kate Bosch with one of her new beautifully delicate songs. Well, that's about it from the Mike Flex Show today. It's goodbye from me, Mike Flex, and from my producer, who produces the Mike Flex Show. And we'll leave you tonight with our record of the week. It's our number one and moving higher all the time. So here are Status Quo.
We have to sing the same refrain. not again. No, not again. Please, not again.
Radioactive was performed by Helen Atkinson Wood, Angus Deaton, Geoffrey Perkins, Philip Pope and Michael Stevens. Music was by Philip Pope and the programme was written by Angus Deaton and Geoffrey Perkins with additional material from David Jackson Young and Michael Stevens. The producer was Jimmy Mulville.
Technical difficulties. Sorry, your time is up.